Hello and welcome to the Revived Yarns podcast. I am Emily and you can find me on Instagram as Revived Yarns. I'm just going to put these in because I forgot. I feel like it's been ages since I did this, and it has been a little while. This is some episode that I have no idea what number it is. Anyway, I'm going to show you some things. I have finished this shirt, tank top thing. I decided I wanted to do a tank top. And then all the patterns were like really fitted and I didn't want a fitted tank top. So I figured out my gauge and I cast on. So it's very loose and breezy. And it was knit on size 7, so you can kind of see through it, but I always wear a tank top underneath everything anyway, a tight tank top. So I just layer it, but it's very loose and it's a linen blend yarn. I thought at first that it was cotton acrylic because it's the same color of another tank that I did a couple of years ago, and I thought it was the rest of that yarn. And then when it was finished, I held them up next to each other and they are not the same yarn. And I apparently don't have this yarn in my stash. It's a reclaimed one, so I unraveled it from a sweater. And the stretchiness makes me think that there is nylon or acrylic or something like that in it. But I think it's also linen. I don't know. Anyway, it's comfortable. I did a crochet around the neck and the arms, and around the bottom just to kind of help hold it down because it was flipping up a bit. So yes, yesterday and the day before and the day before that were super warm, and today is back down in like 65 and cold and windy. So, but I thought I would wear this because I finished it. Another finished object was something I wanted to warp my loom. And I wanted to use up some linen that I had that I kept swatching to try and do a tank in this linen. And nothing worked. Nothing looked nice. So I warped my loom with it and made fabric. And then I cut and zigzag stitched the edges. And I made myself a tote bag that I then washed, and it really needs to be ironed. I should have hung it up to dry instead of drying it in the dryer. So I crocheted over the seams because I sewed it together on my sewing machine, and then I crocheted over the seams. And then I actually didn't have a seam at the bottom because it was a really long piece of fabric that was this wide. And so I just folded it up for the tote, and then cut out sections for the sides. But the bottom was still connected to the sides. I don't know if any of this makes sense, but I did a seam along the bottom just to kind of give it a slight more structure. And then I crocheted the handles, which seem a bit long, but aren't too bad once it's over my shoulder. So this would be great for little trips to the beach or the store for groceries. I just might iron it. I actually thought about putting in some, like a plastic bottom. I have these old cutting boards that are really worn, and I replaced them. I haven't thrown them out yet though, so I might cut, they're the really thin ones. I might cut out a little plastic bottom piece to help it sit flat. That's the word, flat-ish. That was all. My gosh, is that all? No, this is the only thing I knit. I mean, it was size 7 needles. What was it, 18 stitch gauge, I think? That doesn't sound right, but I think it is. So it worked up really fast, but I can't believe this is the only thing I've done. We're finished. I also got, when I went to Fiber Fusion in Monroe, Washington, I bought some Wensleydale fiber and spun that up and it's a really deep purple. Strangely enough, did I do a chain play? I can't even remember. I tried to do it slightly thicker because I wanted something that I could use for punch needle. Oh, that's something else I finished. Punch needle project. Okay, so I took a punch needle class and wanted to spin some yarn for punch needle because most of the yarn I spin is much finer. So I kind of worked to do it thicker, but they actually look like they're different colorways, but it's all from the same braid. It's weird. But yeah, it's Wensleydale. It's actually not too rough. But I think will work really well for punch needle. And I've got a couple other projects going for punch needle as well. Okay, where's my punch needle? Okay, so this is what I did at the class. This cute little thing in an embroidery group. And then there was a little spot that had gotten caught when it was glued, so it looked funny. So I just put a little ribbon. But yeah, it was fun. I think my biggest problem will be figuring out what to do. My daughter really wanted to try it, so I'm just gonna jump right into whips apparently. Because these are not finished, and I did not get out my sewing machine to zigzag the edges of the monk's cloth, so it is just terrible. So my daughter wanted to do a flower in a pot, and you can actually see it on this side. It's just not filled in because the loops are fill in the other side, the correct side. A lot of people actually just fill this in more and use this side, which I understand why, because you can actually tell what it is. This is the right side. She really wanted to do a design on the pot, and it doesn't really give enough, but she enjoyed it, and I just need to finish the edges, glue it in, and then she can hang it up in her room. She also claimed the sheep for hanging in her room, so that's in her room. And then I decided to do a little project that it's not my favorite, but my great grandma was an artist, and she did a picture of some owls in a tree, and so I kind of took inspiration from that, but it just does not show very well, and the details were so hard to do, so I'm not super pleased with it. I'm not sure what my next project will be. I did buy a big square of the monk's cloth, and I might just try and do a rug and just do big sections of color rather than with the yarn that I'm spinning. I feel like my phone is shaking a ton. I'm sorry if it's making everyone sick. I don't know why it's so shaky today. Try not to move. But I have more things I'm working on. So another project that I'm working on for this is a more, it was a bag of blended fiber that was like a mystery. They'd call it Imagine, from Tahoma Vista Fiber Mill. And they do these rovings or bats in these Imagine, and they don't actually tell you what's in it. They kind of just use the end of all the different things that they've worked on. And this is what it looks like. I don't have very much left, but it's not super clean. I mean, it's really not bad compared to some I've worked with, but it's very, I think it's because it's the ends of stuff. Lots of little fibers fly out. So I've only been doing, well, I can do it outside because I don't want all that stuff in my house. So this is what it's looking at like right now. And I think I'm going to end up chain plying it for rug yarn. So that's another project. I'm still working on this spin for a brown yarn. So this was a Spanish merino. These are giant bobbins that hold like 12 ounces of fiber from my e-spinner that I don't actually use for spinning, but I needed something to hold it because I'm going to do a 3-ply. And so this is, let's see, I've got 8 ounces on this, of the Spanish merino. And I've got about 4 ounces right now on this one, and this, or probably 5 ounces, and this is another 3 ounces. So I need to combine these two together. So I've got 8 ounces on this, and then I'm currently spinning the last 8 ounces that I'll put on a third one, and then I have to figure out a system of Lazy Kate to put all 3 of these giant bobbins on so I can do the 3-ply, and I should have enough for a sweater once this is done. It's a lot of brown yarn, and I kind of regret choosing it because it's so boring. But I am going to be doing a lot of spinning in July because I want to do the Tour de Fleece. So I'm hopeful I can finish that. Okay, now for knitting works in progress. So I told you that my daughter designed a little dress, right? So I looked at her drawing and I saw that the neckline, she wanted it to be purple. Oh, that's the other finished thing. Sorry, I'm jumping around. Is her rolags that she did. Spun into yarn and finished. And I saw that she wanted like purple and teal around the neck. And I found this pattern. It's called Clarckei Kids by Marie Amelie Designs. So I did, it's got this little, I don't even know what you would call this, rounded scoop tank thing. And it's really cute. So I'm using, this one is Audine Wools Sleek in the colorway Utopia. I got it in a Knit Crate box a long time ago and I really want to use it up. So I combined some of that hand spun. I think it looks so beautiful. And I knit the tops. It has this nice little detail on the sides. And then I was starting the skirt, but when I finished that first ball of the Audine Wools, I put it on extenders and tried it on her. She was not happy because apparently the drawing, the neckline with the teal and purple meant a ribbon that I got in a package of fiber. She wants that at the neck. And I don't know of a way to do that on this style. And I started the skirt, didn't like how it looked. The lace pattern I was using was making it bubble up weird. So I ripped it back. And it's like this because she really didn't like it, how it looked. I think it looks great. But she has a vision. And sadly, her drawing is not to the point where she can communicate that vision very well with drawing. So what I might do is I have another ball of this and I might just rip back and just keep knitting straight down like this and kind of increase a little bit as I go. So it's A-line, and just do this as a dress, a separate dress from her hand spun dress. And another one, she helped me do a bunch of rolags, really colorful ones, several months ago. And I have spun them up with some natural. So this is another wool that I can use with her others. I think I have 5 balls of this, and they're all variations of these. So this, I think, is the brightest one. And then the middle of this one, and it kind of goes lighter. So I could do a slight fade type thing. Of course, I don't know if that's what she wants either. So it's kind of on hold for the moment. But I might just put it back on the needles and just use up this yarn, because that's one of my goals this year, is to use up yarn. And then I'm sure she'll wear it once it's done, as long as I tell her it's not her dress that she designed. It's just a dress that Mommy wanted to make for her. My other whip that I've been working on for what seems like forever is the Vellichor by Andrea Mowry. And I have split maybe, oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of the front. So anyway, I was here last time. So I had done that much last time. and I knit not much more, so almost twice, double what it was, and I felt like it was long enough, so I split for the front, and I'm knitting back and forth for the front now. I've got it all on one cable needle right now, so it's impossible to see, but I haven't knit very much for the front yet. Pretty soon I will move this to a different cable so it's not in my way. But I was very tempted. That stitch pattern felt like it was taking so long, and it's on 3mm, yeah, 3.25 millimeter needles, so it just takes forever. And I was very tempted to rip it out, but also I'd put in a lot of work so far, so I was like, I'll just keep going. I can do this. And then I had not cast this on last time, I don't think. So this is the Throwover by Andrea Mowry in handspun. It's so amazingly squishy. And also this was, I made rolags, which is when you spin that, it's a woolen spun yarn, so very light. Like this, it's big. My gauge was off, and my colorwork gauge was really off because the yellow is thicker than the brown, and so it kind of got out of control. But I have knit to pretty much where I start the ribbing, but I decided on the sleeves because I have a bunch of this yellow left and I want to use it up. So I did just a quick zigzag color work there and started the ribbing. It's almost like a swan show because it goes down so far. I probably could have taken out this whole section of color work and split for sleeves here, and it would have fit better. But by the time I realized that, I didn't want to rip back. So let me try. I'm gonna try and put it on over another sweater, because the body, I tried it on when I finished the sleeve this morning. So yeah, it's very big, but I mean, it's just so perfect. I am very interested in what the color work will do when I block it. Maybe it will get way too big when I block it. Though my backup plan, if it does get way too big, is to steek it down the front, and even cut off some, or possibly steek and seam. I don't know, but I don't think I will be willing to rip it back because this has been a lot of work, and it's hand spun. I already ripped it back a couple of times, and so the yarn is really fuzzy. But I am okay with this look because it's very much a comfort sweater. So I should actually, I'll probably finish the sleeve today if I just focus on working on it, and then I can do the ribbing at the bottom. So this is done in US 10 for the color work, which I actually didn't plan on. Somehow, I had a 9 on one side of my needle and a 10 on the other side. I don't know how I did that. So I figured it out once I stopped the color work and switched to a 9 for the body, because the brown is thinner than the yellow. And then I'm doing a 10 for the sleeves because my gauge changes in the round on the sleeves, as Andrea Mowry says. And then a 7 for the ribbing. Definitely a 7 for the ribbing on the wrists because I just did that one. I could have done a different size for the neckline because I don't remember. Anyway, this is, yeah, this handspun is just wonderful. And I need to make more sweaters out of handspun because it's so lovely to work with. Okay, that is all my works in progress. So I went to Fiber Fusion, like I said, in Monroe, Washington, and I bought a lot. So this is the acquisition section. If you are not interested in that, have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching. So aside from the Wensleydale that I already did, and the roving mix that I showed for my works in progress, I also went and got from it's the 4R Ranch and Fiber that had the Wensleydale. And then I also got some Murdale, is what she calls it, which is a cross between Wensleydale and merino. It's very soft. So I got some very fine, not fine, but thin roving. I don't know if this is actually pencil roving, but it's like carded, so I can do woolen spun. It'll be nice and lightweight. There is some vegetable matter in it, but not very much. I don't have any plans for that at the moment, but I wanted to try it. And then I got, I'm sorry, there's going to be a little bit of rustling as I open up the plastic on some of these because I keep everything stored in plastic. This one is knotted. Why didn't I put it in a Ziploc? Anyway, okay. And then I got more. So when I went to the Whidbey Island Spinning, I bought this Cormo, this carded Cormo from Mount Hood View Farm in Oregon, and it's lovely. And so I bought more. I think I went with 8 ounces this time, and it is lovely. It's the natural color that's spun up with this the rolags that we made. So it's a really nice natural wool color. I got this big ball in a 2-gallon Ziploc. And then I got from Island Fibers, I got a BFL and silk, which feels very soft and luxurious. It's got a nice shine to it, and you can always, you can tell there's a drape to it already. And it's just in natural. And I believe I got 4 ounces of this. Oops, making a mess and getting little fibers everywhere. And then I got from BJS Fibers, Fiber Creations, I got 4 ounces of a Polworth silk blend. And I believe this was either a messed up dye job. I should braid this thing because it's a mess. Or something because it was discounted. But it's got some tans and greens and oranges, and it will go with some of the other stuff I've got for a combo spin. Maybe I should do this for this Tour de Fleece. This one with some others that I have in my stash. So yeah, 85 Polworth, 15 silk. Oh, this is the best package. Oh my gosh. So this is Fleabers Farms Tweedy Merino with bamboo noil. And it's in this soft pinkish with the tweedy bits. And I wanted to spin a tweed. Okay, my camera just is difficult, and apparently I only have 3 minutes to record. So anyway, I also got this Seattle Sky Duckwork merino silk and backlight, which is very soft, in this little pink color. And I was actually thinking about, that doesn't really go together. I was trying to buy things slightly more mindfully. I don't know if that worked, because I was also just going around being like, oh my gosh, I like that, I like that. And then there was a woolly bits and pieces from Whistle Studio for felting or for rolags. So I got 2 little bags of this because you can find like bits and pieces online at places, but you usually have to go out quite a bit. So these are just 1 ounce each. And I got these 2 little bags. Okay, so I think that is it, and I'm going to say goodbye before my camera cuts me off again. I went through and deleted a ton of videos and pictures from my phone, and it still only says I have 3 minutes to record. Very rude. So I'm going to have to figure that out, I guess. I hope you guys are having great weeks, months, summer. My husband is off for 2 weeks. This is his 2nd week. And then my daughter got sick, so we were able to go to the zoo and to on a couple of walks into the playground, and then she got sick and we had to cancel a little trip out of town. And we want to go to the aquarium, but I'm not sure if that's going to work out because she is still super snotty. Hopefully nobody else gets it. So yeah, summer started. Kids are home. I'm trying to do a little bit of organizing and things, so I've got a few yarny things up in my bedroom on a shelf now, which is kind of nice because they're not in the living room anymore. Anyway, have a wonderful week, and I hope you find some happiness